They are what do you say? What do you call? They are really employing no and scientific knowledge. And then they say Eastern medicine, because of its antiquity, has the wisdom. No? So if you combine the science of Western medicine and the wisdom of Eastern medicine, then uh, you'll become a good doctor. So let's start first with understanding traditional Chinese medicine, or the TCM. No? So traditional Chinese medicine has been used for 2,500 years of Chinese medical practice. That includes various forms of herbal medicine, and in Western medicine, it's pharmacology, with acupuncture, massage, tai chi, qigong, and dietary therapy. No? Have you experienced or hinodinit na tuod that dietary therapy is one way of treating a patient?
Ako, Doc, partly.
Diba? Yes. No? Acupuncture, massage, tai chi, qigong. I will later on discuss to you about qigong. No? So it is primarily used as a complementary, no? Complementary. Di ibig sabihin nga hiyala. It is a complementary alternative medicine. So a brief history of traditional Chinese medicine in the Philippines. Acupuncture in particular are not exactly known. This has been introduced into the country by Chinese traders in the pre-Hispanic era and practiced secretly. Why? Because diba, there was a time wherein our religion and medicine and health were intertwined here in our country up until now, actually, but it greatly affected the religion, greatly affected the the practice of medicine. So that's why in a Catholic country, the practice of traditional Chinese medicine, because it was performed by Chinese traders, no, practice lahiya secretly. So in 1972, China opened its doors, and a group of Filipino medical practitioners went to China to study the techniques of acupuncture and moxibustion. In the next meeting, I'll be showing to you a video about moxibustion. No? So in 1974, Philippine Scientific Acupuncture Association initiated a campaign for legalization of acupuncture practice in the Philippines. In 1977, World Health Organization published a list of diseases which may be treated with acupuncture. And in 1977 also, the bill sponsored by Senator Juan Xavier was passed as Republic Act 8423, known as the Traditional and Alternative Medicine Act, which created the Philippine Institute for Traditional and Alternative Healthcare, or PITAC. You know, in Tacloban, we have the PITAC. If some of you doesn't know, it's at the back of the EVRMC Bagakay, no? So, kunhain it lagundi nga medisina ginihimo. Diba? May nakita lagundi and Vitex Nugundo nga medisina from the DOH, no? So, the PITAC, or the Philippine Institute for Traditional and Alternative Healthcare, are the ones making it, no? So with the creation of this law, this raised acupuncture to higher levels to be able to effectively provide to as many Filipinos as possible. So, yun. In 2007, RA 8423, implementing rules and regulations for the National Certification of Acupuncturists and accreditation of acupuncture training program centers and clinics, was mandated. So it's RA 8423 with their IRR, or the implementing rules and regulations. So you need to have a license. You need to become a accredited acupuncturist or trained, no, before you could have open up your centers and clinics. May dininiragihap ini eskwelahan. Okay. So one of the basic concepts of traditional Chinese medicine holds that the body's vital energy, or what we call the qi, no, circulates through channels called meridians that have branches connected to bodily organs and functions. No? The traditional Chinese medicine view of the body places little emphasis on anatomical structure. No? If you could, um, if you have a background, no, I think may dagad ka mo little background on traditional Chinese medicine or acupuncture or even reflexology. No? Makikita niyo, who has tried reflexology here? Mr. Capon?
Hindi pa po, Doc.
Waray pa. Anyone, kung hino ang nakag-reflect na nagpa-reflexology na, it adi ha tiil, gin pipidlit-pidlit ang tail or ang kamot, gin pipidlit-pidlit hin stick. Waray pa. So if you have experienced that actually, makikita niyo nga ang ginpipidlit nga part or ang ginpipisil nga part ha imo tiil is not actually the part kung hain it imo dirilaan ka ng tiil la mismo, no? They believe that in every part of that foot or your hand, no, may ada corresponding anatomical structure. Like if you're if the median side of your foot is being struck, no, by that stick, no, ang ginpipidlit nga part is connected to your stomach. So makikita nga ang imo stomach may da problema, no, dito nira ginpipidlit it nga imo tiil dapit, no. So traditional Chinese medicine's view of the body places little emphasis on anatomical structure, no, amo to sinisiring, but is mainly concerned with the identification of function of an organ which regulates digestion, breathing, and aging. While health is perceived as harmonious interaction of these entities and the outside world, disease is interpreted as a disharmony in the interaction of your qi. Okay? Yun. So, these are what we call the meridians, no? Makikita nida nga even your arms are connected to your other body parts, no? There are two centerline meridians, the conception vessel and the governing vessel, and then there are 12 principal meridians: the stomach meridian, the spleen meridian, small intestine meridian, heart meridian, bladder meridian, kidney meridian, pericardium meridian, triple warmer meridian, gallbladder meridian, liver meridian, lung meridian, and the large intestine meridian. No? If you could see, no, 2,500 years na been practiced and traditional Chinese medicine, but they know about your body parts. No? They know about the stomach, the spleen, the small intestine. So you really can see na advanced na talaga liwatan Eastern medicine hadto pa nga panahon. Okay? So, traditional Chinese medicine diagnosis aims to trace symptoms to patterns of an underlying disharmony. So, meaning, if imo sakit nga inaabat yan na is not, for example, nagsakit na nimo tiyan, it doesn't mean that your stomach and may problema. No? Traditional Chinese medicine believes that there is an underlying disharmony with your qi, no? By measuring the pulse, inspecting the tongue, skin and eyes, and looking at the eating and sleeping habits of the person as well as many other things. So makikita niyo, no, as a whole, no? As a whole and pag-treat and traditional Chinese medicine. So, the practice of traditional Chinese medicine is based on Yin Yangism, okay? Or what we call the Yin and Yang. So, Yin and Yang are ancient Chinese concepts. For the information of everyone, diri ako nagpa-practice traditional Chinese medicine. I am not a certified acupuncturist. I am just showing you and I am just telling you or lecturing to you what is traditional Chinese or what is Eastern medicine. No, so this is from a very these slides are from our cousin nag acupuncturist talaga hiya, nagpa-practice hiya in traditional Chinese medicine. So Yin and Yang are ancient Chinese concepts. Have you heard about Yin and Yang, people? I think if you've heard about Yin and Yang, if you ano is kung fu, no? Karate, mga suga dito, no? But Yin and Yang, yes. Yin and Yang are ancient Chinese concepts, no? They represent two abstract and complementary aspects. Meaning by magkaiba they are two abstract things, but they are complementary aspects. No? Diri pwedeng damutim yang, diri pwedeng gurugutitim yin. Yeah. So, dapat balance mo yin and yang. Okay? So, they represent two abstract and complementary aspects that every phenomenon in the universe can be divided into primordial analogies for these aspects. No? So yang is the sun facing and the shady is the yin side of a hill. So meaning black and white, and black, and yin, and yang, and white. No? Two other commonly used representational allegories of yin and yang are water and fire. No? So balance. In the yin and yang theory, detailed attributions are made regarding the yin or yang character of things. So this is, no. When we say the yin, it's the moon, female, amot yung mga mga analogy sa iya. No? Yin, moon, female, inside, cold, downward, damp, moist. That's the yin. Now, when we say yang, it's the sun, the male, the outside, the hot, the upward, and the dry. No? But it doesn't mean that the yang is more important than the yin. It doesn't mean mas just because the sun is represents the yang, it means that it's more powerful than the yin. As what I've told you, it's a harmony and it's a balance between the two. So, yun. So yin particularly is structure, while yang is function. No? Yin is night, day is yang. Then we have cold for yin, yang for hot. No? And then earth, sky, moon, sun, slow, fast, humidity, dryness, ascends energy, descends energy, fluids, energy, calm, expressive, death, and birth. So there has to be a balance between the two. The concept of yin and yang is also applicable to the human body. For example, the upper part of the body and the back are assigned to the yang, while the lower part of the body are believed to have the yin characters. So yin and yang characterization also extends to the various body functions, and more importantly, to disease symptoms. So, cold and heat sensations are assumed to be yin and yang symptoms respectively. Oh, so kung ginahagkot ka, meaning symptoms siya ka ng yin. No? Kung may haranat ka, you have fever, it's a yang symptom. Yeah? Thus, yin and yang of the body are seen as phenomena whose lack, no, or overabundance comes with characteristic symptom combinations. No? So, dili lang lack of yin or lack of yang and magkakamay din symptoms, but an abundance or sobra-sobra of the yin and sobra-sobra liwathan yang magkakamay na kan mga symptoms. So, when you say you have a yin deficiency, also termed as heat, so fever, you have heat sensations, so possible night sweats, insomnia, dry pharynx, dry mouth, dark urine, a red tongue with scant fur, and a fine and rapid pulse. So meaning you have a yin deficiency. When you have a yang deficiency, ginahagkot ka, no? Aversion to cold, cold limbs, bright white complexion, duas ka, No? Long voidings of clear urine, you have diarrhea, pale and enlarged tongue, and a slight, weak, slow, and fine pulse. So these functions are aggregated and then associated with a primary functional entity. For instance, nourishment of the tissues and maintenance of their moisture are seen as connected functions. And the entity postulated to be responsible for these functions is the shu. So you have your yin and yang, and nagpapadalagan functions and imulawas is the shu or the blood. No? See how developed the traditional Chinese medicine is. May dalang nga, una nga panahon, they already know about these things. No? Pero may dagihapon ngaran how Western medicine, which is the blood. No? So these functional entities thus constitute concepts rather than something with biochemical or anatomical properties. The primary functional entities used by traditional Chinese medicine are, you have your qi or your energy. Every people has a qi. So you have your shu or your blood, and you have your 5 zang organs and your 6 fu organs. Later on, I will be discussing kung ano yung mga zang organs, ano yung mga fu organs. No? And then we have the meridians. No? So the meridians extend through the organ system. These are all theoretically interconnected. No? Each zang organ is paired with a fu organ, which are nourished by the blood or the shu and concentrate qi for a particular function, with meridians being extensions of those functional systems throughout the body. So your qi is your energy. Traditional Chinese medicine distinguishes many kinds of qi in a general sense. No? So qi is something that is defined by 5 cardinal functions. Number 1, actuation of all physical processes in the body, especially the circulation of all body fluids and meridians. Warming the body, especially the limbs. Your defense against exogenous pathogenic factors like viral infections or any other kinds of infections, it's your qi. So ibig sabihin, if your qi, if you have, kung may nakasakit, no, your qi is not that sufficient, no, so there's a disharmony. Okay, containment of body fluids, keeping like blood, sweat, urine, semen, no, from leakage or excessive emission, your qi will be depleted. Transformation of food, drink, and breathe, you know, and when you breathe, no, the transformation of this food and drink and breath, no, into the qi, no, your shu and your fluids, or transformation of all the latter into each other. So there's interconnectability. No? Your qi will dictate, no, the transformation or the interconnectability of your shu and your jinye or fluids. So deficiency of qi will be characterized especially by pale complexion. There's a lassitude of spirit, no? Lack of strength, spontaneous sweating, laziness to speak, non-digestion of food, shortness of breath, no? And a pale and enlarged tongue. So, din hit mga hubya magyakan, tawagan na niyo hira nga, ay, buti ay, you are deficient in qi. No? So qi is believed to be partially generated from your food and your drink, and partially from air. So another considerable part of it is inherited from the parents and will be consumed in the course of life. So meaning, your qi, when you die, nakukonsume ito nimo. No? Although magkakamay na kan anak, matatransfer di mo qi, but pag mamatay ka, your qi will be consumed. So traditional Chinese medicine uses special terms for qi running inside the blood vessels and for qi that is distributed in the skin, in the muscles, and tissues. So you have your blood. No? In contrast to the majority of other functional entities, the shu or the blood is correlated with a physical form. So the red liquid running in the blood vessels, its concept is nevertheless defined by its function, meaning the blood nourishes all parts and tissues of the body safeguarding an adequate degree of moisture, and sustaining and soothing both consciousness and sleep. So it's not different, that much different from the Western medicine. So typical symptoms of a lack of shu or blood, no? Meaning you have a blood deficiency. On how Western, it's anemia, no? It was what we call the shu, the shui shu, I mean, no? The pale white or withered yellow complexion, the dizziness, flowery vision, palpitations, insomnia, numbness of the extremities, pale tongue, no? So you have anemia. Now, when another bodily fluid in your body is what we call the yin yang, no? It is closely related to the shu, but the yin yang is usually translated as body fluids, and just like shu, they are considered to be yin in nature, and defined first and foremost by the functions of nurturing and moisturizing the different structures of the body. Their other functions are to harmonize yin and yang and to help with the secretion of waste products. No? So yin usually are tears, sputum, saliva, gastric acid, joint fluids, your sweat, and your urine. Okay. Then we have zang fu. No? So amo na akong gisisiring kanina iyo nga there are mga fu organs and the zang organs. No? The zang fu constitute the centerpiece of the traditional Chinese medicine systemization. Bearing the names of organs, they are, however, only secondarily tied to the anatomical assumptions, as they are primarily defined by their functions. They are not equivalent to the anatomical organs. To highlight this fact, their names are usually capitalized. Now, the term zang refers to the 5 entities considered to be yin in nature. Okay? These are the heart, the liver, the spleen, the lungs, and your kidneys. They are the major organs of the body. No, the zang. While the fu are the 6 yang organs, your small intestine, your large intestine, your gallbladder, your urinary bladder, your stomach, and your triple heater, which is not actually an anatomical part, but it's your sanjiao. Okay? So the zang organs has always a fu organ. Okay? The zang's essential function consists in the production and storage of the qi and shu. So your blood and your energy are from the heart, from the liver, from the spleen, from the lungs, and from the kidneys. Tama? While the fu organ's main purpose is merely to transmit and digest substances such as waste and food. So your small intestine, your large intestine, your gallbladder, your urinary bladder, your stomach, and your sanjiao. Okay. So the zang's essential functions are said to regulate digestion, breathing, water metabolism, your musculoskeletal system also on the skin, while the fu organs is merely to transmit and digest substances such as waste and food. Okay. So this is just a mere representation of your yin and yang, or your zang organs and your fu organs, kung ano hirap. Because when I told you about kanina that they are interconnected, and the traditional Chinese medicine really has a concept that our bodily functions are related also to the yin and yang of the phenomenon ngan adiha aton gawas ha aton lawas. No? They are connected with wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So mga metal benders, mga benders dida, hinod nagkikita din yan, ang, no? So we have our zang organs and our fu organs. So please just look into this, no? Kung anon ira mga corresponding, like for the wood, the zang organ is liver, for the fire, the heart, for earth, it's spleen, for metal, it's lung, for water, is kidney. And the sense organs and the others, and in directions. So, you see how very interconnected here nature. Now, Jing Luo when we say Jinglu, these are the meridians. No? The meridians are believed to be channels running from the Zhangfu in the interior of the body to the limbs and joints, and then the surface that transports those Zhangfu bodily fluids are the qi and the shu. No, so your Zhang organs are connected with your Fu organs because of the meridians. No, and then these meridians are the ways kung hain animo chi and animo shu nangagi. Okay. So in general, disease is perceived as a disharmony or imbalance in the functions or the interactions of your yin or yang, your qi, your shu, your zhangfu, and the meridians, and of the interaction between the human body and the environment. Therapy is based on which pattern of disharmony can be identified. So, mga traditional Chinese medicine practitioners have their own way of diagnosis, no? Tapos, with the pattern of the disharmony nga makikita nila, dito nila makikita kung ano it imo part of the body that would be have acupuncture, will have acupressure, no? So, pattern discrimination is the most important step in traditional Chinese medicine diagnosis. It is also known to be the most difficult aspect of practicing TCM. No? Just like in Western medicine, diagnosing a particular person is the most difficult aspect of practicing medicine. No? Because one person can have a wide array of symptoms. No? Diri kala pwede makayakan, no? If you go into the hospitals, you'll see in your charts, in the charts of the patients, nga diri la usat diagnosis, no? Usually nakabutang hypertensive cardiovascular disease, no? And it's an array of symptoms already. You have hypertension, you have cardiovascular disease. And then sometimes may dapat ibang mga sakit nga gibubutang yung doctor, no? And it's the most difficult aspect, even in practicing, not just only TCM, but also in the medicine naton Western medicine. Okay? So in order to determine which pattern is at hand, practitioners will examine things like the color and shape of the tongue, the relative strength of pulse points, the smell of the breath, the quality of breathing, or the sound of the voice. See? May adanad gihapon nira palpation, may dahira auscultation, no? So later on, with the next meeting, we will be discussing how the 8 major factors kung ginaano pag-diagnose ang traditional Chinese medicine. And you'll see how it really operates nga puro pareho lahiya aton Western medicine. Okay? So I think I would stop there first because it's already 8:05. So later, in the next meeting, I'll be discussing to you the continuation about traditional Chinese medicine. Again, I am not a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. All the PowerPoints that I'm showing to you are from a doctor who is really practicing a traditional Chinese medicine, our cousin. And I would just like you to be open-minded and be because I know we are very inclined to practicing Western medicine. But if you really get to see the beauty of Eastern medicine and combine it with your traditional Chinese medicine or traditional Eastern medicine, makikita niyo that there's no harm really. Have you ever heard that some of your relatives are taking supplements from a traditional Chinese medicine or practitioner? Waray man sumiring nga stop ani mo mga medisina ani mo Western medicine. It just supplements. It's usually nga nit nakabutang no approved therapeutic claims, mga herbal medicine and all. But those are studied and may danira effect halawas. But it just gives us a complementary treatment or an alternative treatment to what is the Western medicine is prescribing right now. Okay. So, is someone checking your attendance?
Yes po, Doc.
Is Zoe here? Zoe?
Hello?
You're here. Okay. Okay. So, our next meeting would be next Wednesday. Diri pa ba't holiday? Diri pa, no? Diri pa holiday. May holiday ka mo.
April 1 to 3 yata, Doc.
April 1 to 3 and holiday. Yeah, sige, sige. I'll see you at the next meeting on 30th and the 31st Wednesday, March 31. Okay. And for those who haven't watched The Physician, I hope you watch it na. No, mas diri ako stricto yan na kay it's online and I understand you people, but kung face-to-face ini, actually, I have already required you to submit to me a review. Tapos gimbabasa ko talaga ito tag-usa-usa. No? I once caught a higher year na niyo. I once caught a higher year that has actually copy-pasted a review from the internet. So, parang sugat, no? Then, paano ba? May dagya pa ko sa nga nadakpan una. It's not nadakpan, pero nabasa ko. Okay, gibabasa ko talaga. Nabasa ko nga ang first paragraph all about the review. Ang kabot nga ang bodyhan paragraph. Iginhimu-himu, ang lahin bislaan. Tapos, aniya last part liwat and closing, abot na gihapon hand review. Di ba? Kamanga baltok. Balitaw. Perspectives in medicine is a breather for you. It's far from the ones being taught, the physiology, anatomy, and all. Perspectives in medicine will give you a wide perspective in medicine. And it's not just the traditional learning. So I hope we see each other on March 31. Anak mga kilala, anhi. Ada man ni Kapon, ni Pau, ay nahi Obejas, anhi Obejas?
Hindi ako do.
Very good. Hinupan iba, ang mga waray din hiyan ako last meeting. Are they here? Hiday nanhi. Waray hidin ano? Waray. Are you already complete ang iyong pag-enroll or still may dalagi hapon waray maka-enroll?
May mga waray pa po nag-enroll daw, Doc.
Okay, sige. So, yun. Waray pa ka mo kung saan ito yung face-to-face? Waray pa. Second year. Second year. Anyway, mas maupay talaga actually it face-to-face. No? But we have to adapt. We have to adapt. And I hope when you go to third year, I'll see you. I am also teaching preventive community medicine at third year. So, preventive community medicine, PCM. So, I hope I still see you pag third year and I hope it's already face-to-face. Grabe na kung 2024. Di rin pa makag face-to-face. No? So, no. Please be safe, everyone, and fighting. Study first. No? Study always and study hard, play hard, and work harder. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.